Greetings and well met. Welcome to Stories by the Fireside. I am your host and narrator, Hailstorm, and today I do not have a story for you. Rather, I have more of an update for you. Since I have been away for, what is it now, 3 months? More? I've been away for a while. That is the whole point. And it has mainly been, well, real life has gotten in the way. And I needed time to get over it. I needed time to relax and put my thoughts back together. And it takes time when you're fighting with a couple of things. But I finally more or less gotten myself together. And I want to apologize if you can hear the fan in the background. It is rather hot in my apartment, and I cannot open the windows at present because there are hornets everywhere, and I do not want them in my home at all. So therefore I keep the windows closed and I keep my fan running, very loudly. Unfortunately, but that is just how life is. However, I did say in a previous video, I forget which one, because it has been 3 or 4 months at this point, I was talking about early retirement and being very anxious about it. And I can now say that I am a retiree. I have retired. I no longer have to worry about anything at all. It's lovely, it's wonderful. I am very much officially a retirement, yes, very eloquent. I am very much officially a retiree. All of the paperwork has gone through, all of it. They granted my retirement, and I waited for the paperwork to come in. It came in, it is perfect. I no longer have to worry about anything. I am getting a pension every month, and it is the strangest feeling so far. It is very, very strange for me to suddenly have a bank account that no longer looks completely shredded and in tatters. It's wonderful to actually have some more resources between my hands. And in the meanwhile, I have taken up more hobbies. I have begun to do cross-stitching, for instance. And I did some things in the meanwhile as well. I looked after my mother's house and a cat, so I wasn't even at home to record anything. And taking the microphone with me seemed a little bit excessive. It's not that important to me. Reading things aloud here and posting them on YouTube is not particularly important to me. It is rather low priority. It's just a hobby. It's just another hobby for me. It's not anything that I plan to live off of, especially now that I am retired. No, I plan to just do this as a hobby and periodically post something. Anything, really. I do want to make the story at the Mountains of Madness. That one I do want to make because of the very interesting narrator. If you're familiar with the story and have read it or heard it, then you will be familiar with the very special narrator. It is a first-person narrator, and it is seen from the perspective of a scientist who went to Antarctica, to the Mountains of Madness, more or less, or at least the foot of the Mountains of Madness. So we see this first-hand account, and it is a very interesting personality to step into and act out, because that is what I do when I read these things aloud, and it is a first person. I act it out. I give it personality. I give it I give this person emotion and respect as well, because it is a character that I step into. So like any actor or actress, anyone that has ever worked in theatre, I step into the shoes of this person and act it out. So I do want to make At the Mountains of Madness, especially because I haven't found a recording of it online anywhere that I was 100% happy with. There's an old one of a man reading it aloud, but I don't like the way that he just reads it. That he's just reading it aloud. You can clearly hear that. He's not living himself into the story, he's just reading the words aloud. And that's fair, that's fine. That's like listening to a bedtime story, but it's not what I am looking for. I want to make a story with a character that basically I want you to believe in it for just a moment. I want you to believe that what you're hearing is true, even if it's just for a sliver of a moment. Because that is magic. That is where the magic happens. And I want to see if I can do that with At the Mountains of Madness. I have tried to do it before with some of the other stories, such as the music of Eric Zahn, and other first-person ones. I was particularly happy with the way that I did the one with Nyarlathotep. I was very pleased with that one. So, I want to see if I can make one with At the Mountains of Madness, and it's going to take a while because it's a very long story. So, that's just how it is. It's going to take a while, it's going to take a lot of takes. Yes. Because sometimes it just doesn't come out correctly, what I want to say, especially if I'm reading something aloud. It needs to be correct, and I need to not feel anxiety when I'm reading it aloud and afraid that the next couple of words that I say will get bungled up, because that does happen. And sometimes instead of reading the correct line, I jump a line, and then it just gets all muddied, and I have to retake that. And I do them line by line, and I try to keep the breaks organic, but it can be a little bit difficult. I just hope it sounds good to all of you guys, because I'm not listening to them again. I, like many other people, cannot stand the sound of my own voice. At least on recordings. I'm perfectly fine with it when I'm just talking, because I'm hearing it from two places at once. I'm hearing it from the outside, and I'm hearing it from the inside. And that's a fun little fact for you. That's why a lot of people cannot stand to hear their own voices, because it's not the voice that they're familiar with. When they speak, it's a completely different voice, because they hear it two places at once. So there's a disconnect, and the brain does not like that kind of thing. So, At the Mountains of Madness is going to take time, but I do want to make it and give it to you guys. I might do it by parts, because the story in and of itself is made up of parts. So I might do part 1, post that, then do part 2, post that, then do part 3 and post that. And when all of the parts are finally done, I most likely will put them together in the same video and post that, so that you can follow the process of it, just for the fun of it. While I do not like to give out work in progress things, I think this would be the most productive way of doing it, I suppose. Or at least the most satisfying way to do it for me as well. Because now I have quote-unquote a finished piece that I can give out and be happy about that, and then I can move on to the next piece, so I do it in bits. But yes, I have been quiet. I haven't even posted anywhere in the community tab because I have been busy processing things that have happened in my life. And now things are looking up. Things are finally looking up, and it's a good feeling. And today I had a bit of extra energy, so I figured that I could make this little recording and give it to you guys to let you know I'm not dead, not yet. I have just had a lot of things happening and no time or energy or will to put some effort into this channel for the past 3 or 4 months. But hopefully that will change, because it is a nice hobby to have. It's a lovely little hobby that I've picked up, simply because I do stories. I like telling stories, and I've specialized in writing stories. But I do like telling them as well, becoming a storyteller, using my voice, my tone, to create characters you can almost see in front of you. So give them a little bit of personality here and there, and just, being able to live into the story. I like to do that as well. So hopefully the want to do more recordings will come back. But until then, I will not really be touching the YouTube channel, simply because it is just a hobby for me. So I won't really touch it. I won't really post anything or update anything on the community tab if there is no video coming up or anything like that, or if I've promised to put out a video and I cannot fulfill the promise, I will of course write in the community tab. But otherwise, I'm not really going to touch it. I'm not really going to do anything with it. So if you are expecting to have this weekly update that I've been doing so far, then unfortunately I have to disappoint there, at least for a while. So, but of course I'm not going to change any of the videos already here. They are going to stay. I'm not going to close the channel or anything. I'm going to leave that channel open, so there's content for you to enjoy over and over and over again. If that's what you want, you can put it on loop. If that's your thing, go for it, go nuts. And that is about it, really. A little bit of a ramble there at the end, but yes, that's just what happens when I get going these days, I suppose. So yeah, I'm not dead. I'm still very much alive, and things are looking up. And eventually I will post some more videos. But don't expect them in the near future. Be patient with me if you want to, or unsubscribe if you want to. I don't care. This is just a hobby for me. But if you do like nice voices, then I can certainly recommend finding other people on this platform. There are so many people who do voice work and who do ASMRs and all those kind of things. Go nuts. Go out, find those lovely people, listen to them. It's great. And I will be signing off now. So hopefully I will come again in the future. Maybe in a month's time, maybe 2. But until then, thank you all for coming, and may you all have a pleasant day or night.